Good morning and welcome. Happy Friday. Yeah, we made it through another week here. The dog days of summer in full swing. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, the physical delivery of wealth insurance. Gold and silver, it is what we do. 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. Another great edition, by the way, if I do say so myself. Ramon keeping you all in the know at allamericangold.com. And man, I will say this. My golf game's getting better. That's not a good thing. I was out on the course again yesterday. I know it was hotter than you know what out there, but things are coming around. I need to play less. So in order for me to play less, I need you to call more, and then I can play less. So 800-951-0592. NBA draft last night. Did anybody care? Arlene says yes. Well, the Suns had the number one pick, so maybe we did care a little bit, and then we got the guy from Arizona, and then another kid from Arizona who my son played against his whole life. My oldest son and Marvin Bagley played against each other and also on the same team. Not that my son was Marvin; he wasn't. Marvin was a phenomenal player when he was 8, 9, 10. He went second in the draft. I do know that. I do, and you know what? Since we're on in Denver as well, I do know that a lot of people think Denver got the steal of the draft. The player from Missouri, Porter, who was supposed to, be a top 5 pick, but I think there was some baggage of some sort. I don't know all the details because I don't really care anymore about pro basketball or pro anything, really anything sports-wise. Baseball, yes, go Diamondbacks, right, first place. Other than that, that's sports. That's all I got for sports. The weather, we know what the weather is. It's hot and hotter. Speaking of what we do, a lot of things to talk about. Big OPEC meeting happened this morning. Didn't quite go the way we were hoping for. Let's just say this crude oil's up almost 5%. I'm going to tell you why. And OPEC actually increased production. The problem is they may not actually be able to do what they want. In other words, there's not enough capacity out there to do it. So it doesn't look like oil's going to be going down anytime soon. We'll have to wait and see. It's just happened today, but we'll break that down. UPS, we've been talking a little bit about how are they going to strike. They haven't agreed yet. They still got to vote, but I know what the new terms are going to be. Good news is UPS won't be striking, at least we don't think. Bad news is you're going to be paid a whole lot more to be delivering those UPS packages. I'll give you the terms. And by the way, just like everybody, it's amazing. UPS is going to have a new class of worker. Just like all the other big corporations in America today. Hey, okay, you guys that are here already, we'll pay you one thing, but all these new people, we're gonna give you a new class. I'll tell you all about that as well. We did have more data out today, not a lot, but manufacturing data. So yesterday we had that bad number out of Philly. Today it came through on the flash survey as well, which is the entire country. New orders, big drop in new orders. This was a June number, flash number, and then we get the final at the end of the month. But this was the flash number. And again, we're going to have a good second quarter. The problem is it does appear like the third quarter is probably going to, I think we're going to be above there. I don't think we're going to get 4 in the second quarter. We could maybe, but it doesn't look like it's going to last. We'll see. It's still early, but at least early indications are things are are slowing back down. We'll have to keep our eye on that. Big layoff announcement coming out of Tesla today. Not just on the, they laid off 9% of Tesla's anyone that didn't work in the actual Tesla plant, 9% of the people got let go. Today, it was Solar City. Of course, remember Tesla, let's face it, let's call it what they are, two government-sponsored entities that somehow allow Elon Musk to be, I don't know, he keeps losing money, so who knows how much longer. Massive layoff announcements out of Solar City. I think 12 plants in 9 different states are going to be shuttered. I guess the solar industry is not as good as they once thought it was going to be. We'll bring that to you. Trade tariffs, got to talk about it. It's starting. It ratcheted up another notch today. Starting today, the EU now is imposing tariffs on whiskey, right? We knew that, right? That was one of the things on the list. Harley's, right? That was on the list. Peanut butter, right? So peanuts and peanut butter also on the list of things that the EU just started this morning on all imports into the EU on those products now are going to be hit with a tariff that we heard about last week. So U.S. peanuts, peanut butter, orange juice, also part of that again. So a lot of the, seems to be anyway, early on, the farmers taking it on the chin. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Working on this static thing, so it sounds better right now, so we'll go with that. Again, doing our best. I don't know. We know what's so funny is Ramona and I, we don't know why. It'll be 5, and then randomly it's there, and then it goes away, and then it's there, it goes away. There's a ghost in the machine somewhere. But nonetheless, it does sound better. So good job, Ramon. Gold's up right now, $1,270 to the ounce. We're thinking we're close to. We know technically, right? 1280 is an important number. 1250 is kind of support for that number. Yesterday looked like we're going to get to 1250, and then the manufacturing numbers came out, home sales numbers came out, right, and they weren't great. Matter of fact, the biggest drop, I think they said the Philly Fed may have been the biggest drop on record. Today's PMI, the flash PMI that came out today, it was the lowest number of the year. So kind of stabilized gold now. Matter of fact, most of the major players all updating their forecast. J.P. Morgan, Societe Generale, a bunch of the banks all did, and pretty much all of them are still in the, hey, gold's going to be just fine, right? Second half's going to be a lot better. 2019 is going to be even better still. And you start to really look at what we're dealing with. Everything's gotten so expensive, right? And people can't afford to live. I know you know I'm right. And I mean, the tax cuts, if you were fortunate enough, right, to make a lot of money, tax cuts were good. For most of the people, the little bit that we got, which, hey, the people would take anything, right? Hey, if you're going to give me an extra $40 a month, I'll be happy. Sure, who wouldn't be? But then when when gas prices go up, medical costs go up, and you're like, wait a minute, I got an extra 40, but I needed an extra 140. Today, this just broke in the last hour. It looks like customers are still going to get packages delivered. Teamsters negotiated, say they have tentatively agreed to a new 5-year contract with UPS. The deal promises to raise wages for existing workers, but creates a new class of lower-paid drivers. And these drivers, They're going to be the weekend guys, apparently. Yeah, so they're just going to drive on the weekend. The agreement has to be finalized, right? So they'll take it to a vote. The two sides negotiating 260,000 union workers at UPS. The new contract, here's the breakdown. Hourly wage increases totaling $4.15 an hour over 5 years. So not quite $1 an hour a year. Raising the starting wage for part-time workers, I guess this is going to be the new drivers, I don't know, right, to $13 an hour, so nothing special there. With increases, though, in subsequent years. It does create a new category they're calling the hybrid driver that would normally work on weekends, allowing the company to expand its Saturday delivery and add Sunday service.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Right now, hey, just think about it. This could be a great new side hustle. Right? If you're one of the few people in America that actually have a Monday through Friday gig, you can now deliver packages for UPS on the new hybrid driver plan. By the way, top pay for full-time workers. So this isn't the hybrid driver. $20.50 tops out at $35 an hour. So if you're working full-time at UPS, you cannot afford a two-bedroom apartment in Denver, a modest two-bedroom apartment in Denver, because they said that in Denver you needed to make about $24 an hour for it. But in Phoenix you can. At $20 you can. In Phoenix, as they said, $18.54. It won't be, you won't be up here in North Scottsdale, but maybe down here near the Deer Valley Air Park you can get yourself a new apartment. So get ready, higher prices, and I don't know if you guys, we use UPS. One of the things that we order are the boxes. So when you guys get your product and it comes in that brown box, right? Those boxes aren't free. When we talk about shipping and handling, right, you'll see the shipping charges from the post office, and it'll be, registered, insured before you put anything in it and before you put a value on it. There's already over $20. The more it weighs, the more it costs. So Silver Eagles cost more. The more dollar value, the more it costs. Right, and I mean we're at that point now. You shipping anything over $5,000, it's over $35. Just it. The boxes that we ship in, right? Those, we got to pay for those and the tape. Do you know that UPS charges? What was it? I think the final number was over $100 a box just for it to be delivered. The UPS charge costs almost as much as the actual boxes, right? So think about a box. We get a case, and depending on the size of the box, it's either got 25 for the big ones to 100 boxes on the little one. And the UPS charge basically doubles the price because they're big, they're bulky, right? So UPS is like, hey, I know it doesn't weigh a whole lot, but it takes up a lot of room on the truck. Apparently, those prices are going to get a lot more expensive as UPS has created reached a tentative agreement, an extra $4 and change an hour over the next 5 years. Listen, and it's not going to be enough. Right, 5 years from now, guess what they're going to negotiate? Hey, we need $8 an hour for the next 5 years, and then we're going to need $12 an hour for the next 5. You're going to see how it goes. By the way, hey, I got another job out there. So, my oldest is getting ready to leave for college. So all of you out there that have college-age kids, this is for you. Andrew Parker is the guy's name. He created a new business, and it's called Papa. Okay, so P-A-P-A, like Papa John's Pizza. No, just Papa. Okay, and what Papa is it's a way for college kids to earn some money. See, Parker's grandfather began suffering from dementia 3 years ago, like a lot of people out there. His grandmother had to start taking care of the house and caring for him, and it was hard work. Now, Parker's not dumb, right? He's not going to take care of it. That's hard work. So he got the idea to hire a college student to help out. And he said, hey, can you go hang out with my grandfather? Make him a sandwich or something, and I'll pay you, he recalled. He said his grandfather loved it. More important, so did his grandmother. So he created this business called Papa, which is what they called his grandfather. Okay, so that was, growing up, some of them, Pop and Grandpa or Grandma. Well, in this case, they called them Papa. Papa. It connects, maybe it's not nationwide yet. In Florida, this is running in Florida, it connects students in South Florida with seniors for light housekeeping or driving chores, but the company's real slogan is grandkids on demand. Right? Hey, just come out, just pretend my grandma, my grandpa, right, my mom, my dad, they really aren't with it anymore. Just pretend you're their grandkid and go over to the house and hang out for a little while. Make a sandwich. Maybe run a vacuum. Right? It'll be great. You get a few bucks. Everybody wins. Our emphasis is really on a fun day for a senior. I mean, right, you play Monopoly, right, Connect Four. I mean, all that. So it'd be great. Right? Maybe go for a walk. I don't want someone who might say, I don't want to bother my daughter or my son. Isn't that sad? I don't want to ask one of my kids to, hey, can you go hang out with your grandparents, please? And, they're older now and, maybe make them a sandwich and maybe play Go Fish or Jid Rummy. I don't want to do that. I don't want to bother them. But I want someone who can be with them for a day or so. And this is a great way to do it. The company says they have 250 members that pay a monthly fee of $15 to $30 to belong, and they pay $15 an hour for visits by students. It's all done through PayPal. So check it out. I mean, hopefully they'll be rolling out everywhere, right? Because let's face it, your kids aren't going to do it, but maybe you get somebody else's kid to go over to Grandma and Grandpa's house and take care of business. It says that the students must be enrolled in a 4-year college or be working on a master's degree, social works degree, or nursing or medical care degree. They also, now this is where it gets a little hard. They've got to have a 4-door car. Apparently, you're going to be driving Pop around. Hey, let's go for a drive, right? We'll drive around the neighborhood. Maybe we'll stop at the park and we'll get some bread. We'll feed the ducks. It'll be great. I can go change your pants. It'll be wonderful. Must have a 4-door car, and you got to pass a background check. They're giving a personality test. I don't know if you've ever seen these personality tests. It's amazing now what these companies make you do for essentially minimum wage. Because let's say $15 an hour to go take somebody else's grandparents, because no one wants to ask their own kids to do it. They ask you all these questions, and really they ask you the same question about 8 different ways, and they're supposed to somehow, based on that, get a personality profile. It looks for people with empathy and patience. All right, so my kid's out. Maybe my younger son could qualify, but my older son, he doesn't have either one of those, so he's out. The biggest thing we focus on is curing loneliness. I don't even know what to say right now. You know what's so funny is my wife and I beg my mom to move out here like every month, all the time. We actually move out here, move in our house, right? Our kids, all that. She's like, I don't want to do that. I got stuff. This is what my mom was like. I got stuff going on. And I'm like, you're 74 years old. What stuff do you got going on, right? Well, I'm playing bunco, and I'm volunteer at the food bank, and I like to hoard stuff, right? I mean, that's what she does. Well, Ma, now I got you covered. I'm going to call Papa, and they're going to come out and hang out with you. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, presenting a daily conservative pro-family perspective since 1983 and continuing the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. And now, from the archives of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, here is Phyllis Schlafly.
Feminists are forever whining about equal pay and the so-called pay gap between the wages paid to men and to women. Well, we've had the equal pay law since 1971, and there's a big government agency to enforce the law and punish violators. Now, the first thing to remember is that the law does not require that everybody be paid the same. That's communism. We believe in equal pay for equal work. Perhaps an even more important reason for women's lower pay is the choices that women make in their personal lives, such as having children. Women with children earn less because they take more time off of the workforce, and childless women earn just about the same as men. Another fact is the influence of, now you're going to learn a new word, hypergamy. That means that women typically choose a husband or boyfriend who earns more than she does. Now, funny thing, men don't seem to have that same preference for a higher-earning wife. While women prefer to have a higher-earning partner, men generally prefer to be the higher-earning partner in a relationship. This simple but profound difference between the sexes has powerful consequences for the so-called pay gap. Suppose the pay gap between men and women were magically eliminated. If that happened, simple arithmetic suggests that half of women would be unable to find what they regard as a suitable husband. Now let's look at preferences for college courses. When you read a college catalog, you'll find that there are no gender separations in courses of study. There are no male math courses and female math courses. But not nearly as many women choose math as men. Women generally choose college courses that pay less in the labor market, such as psychology and sociology. Now, those are choices that women themselves make, and those choices do contribute to the pay gap.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. You've seen the desperation of women's marches, the disgrace of Planned Parenthood, the rise of savvy young conservative women. Radical feminism is heading down a dead-end road. Voice your opinion on what's really important to women at phyllisschlafly.com. That's phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
Use words.
800-951-0592. Silver right now. Silver's up 8 cents, 9 cents, 16.40. Today's going to be it. The last day, $3.90 a roll on U.S. Silver Eagles, unless silver gets back towards that 16 and a quarter. So $3.90 a roll, U.S. Silver Eagles. Take advantage of that. things are getting interesting. So now Donald Trump has responded to the EU. So today, the EU actually enforced the tariffs that we talked about last week, like on bourbon and Harleys, peanuts and peanut butter, orange juice, all of those things. The president has responded this morning saying he wants to impose a 20% tariff on all cars coming out of the EU. We haven't done that, but this is now the president is firing back saying that he wants to impose a 20% tariff. So if you were looking at a Beamer or a Mercedes, a Volvo, right, you better get down there and take care of business because it may get a lot more expensive. Speaking of expensive, and I know they say there's no inflation. I'm not going to get upset about it. Housing. Right, we all got to live. Right, we got to have a place to lay down at night, unless you're the homeless people on the corner of the freeways. Is the least affordable since the housing crash. The first quarter affordability, as measured by the average share of income needed to buy a median-priced home, okay, was at the lowest levels since the first quarter of 2008. And, of course, by then, by the time they get this, how bad the data is. By the time they got to 08, by then the whole market had already crashed. They finally get around to fixing it. It was 86 then. It's at 95 and falling. They said it's not just because home prices are too high. Rising rates is now having a very adverse effect on people's ability to actually buy a home. They said that the mortgage rates have hit the highest levels in over 7 years. Rates are rising, prices are rising, wages not rising fast enough. And, of course, wages rising, they say it, but not really. But here's what they had to say. The median priced home is unaffordable. Okay, this is first quarter this year. For people earning the average wage in over 75% of all U.S. counties. Think about that. Are you thinking about, hey, I'm right in the middle. Half the people in this county make less than I do. Half the people make more. You'd think you can buy a home. I'm right in the middle. And, of course, it's not just San Francisco, Michigan, Wayne County, which includes Detroit, is on the list. It's everywhere. Like I said, 75% of all counties in the United States now, if you are the average, right in the average, not going to be able to afford a home. And, of course, we've been seeing it, right? Sales keep falling. And this is going to be a weird one. This is why I really think the GDP number, we're going to get a good one in the second quarter. I just don't know if it's going to continue because falling home sales, falling car sales, really hard to make up with those two categories not playing. How about this? Tesla announcing closures of Solar City operations. Elon Musk calling it a tough day. Said that they are targeting facilities for closures located in California, Maryland, New Jersey, Texas, New York, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Arizona, and Delaware. All the places where plants, where Circuit City, they're already out of business. Solar City, where solar, maybe they're going to go the way of Circuit City. They apparently strapped for cash, talking about how demand for solar has fallen significantly in the last 2 years. and is the reason why that they've made the decision they're going to close a dozen plants in 9 states. Speaking of car tariffs, and I know they said they weren't doing this, right? And remember, they were talking about, well, you know what, we're not going to build cars in America. I'm talking about GM. I'm talking about Ford, right? They're getting rid of all, but they're going to keep making the SUVs here. That was kind of the latest. And remember when Trump first took office and Carrier wanted to leave and then said they weren't, and now we find out, yeah, they sure did. Today, news that GM has announced they are going to build the Blazer in Mexico, despite objections from the president. GM says that they are going ahead with plans to build the Blazer in Mexico, as well as all sedans. And I don't know if all of them are going to be built in Mexico, but they're not going to be building sedans in the United States anymore. But the new Chevy Blazer SUV is now going to be headed to Mexico. According to General Motors, we remain committed to working with the administration on a modernized NAFTA. But guess what? You can't put a tariff high enough on it. I mean, that's really what General Motors is saying. What are they really saying? So if you put a 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% tariff, we can still build them for less down there. They make $2 an hour, and everybody here wants to make 15, and we know it's going to go to 30. So apparently, according to GM, the United Auto Workers Union is calling the decision disappointing, saying this is happening while UAW GM workers here in the U.S. are laid off and unemployed. Wow. I don't know. How does it really end? I mean, this is the problem. I keep trying to tell you. This is what is happening. Everything is getting more expensive except for wages, right? It's just like UPS. All right, we'll pay you guys more, but we're going to develop a new class of employee. The hybrid driver, we'll call it. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. More trade wars. Boy, it's moving quick now. U.S. protectionism is self-defeating and a symptom of paranoid delusion, right? That's not North Korea. Nope, that's the word out of China this morning, and that will not distract us in our path to modernization. And remember, China's got a plan, right? Through and it's the new Silk Road, the 2025 plan, where they're going to control everything from the let's call it the eastern shores of Europe to the western shores of Asia. And apparently they're getting ready, and the announcement that I'm reading is starting in July. So happy 4th of July. China says that it is absolutely going through and moving forward with the tariffs that they announced. Remember, earlier this week, Trump says if you do it, I'm going to hit you with another $200 billion worth of tariffs. China, at least in their state-run media, says that they're moving forward regardless of the threat. And it accused the United States of being, let's just say they're not real happy. And that they will hit back with quantitative and qualitative measures. So they're going to get both Qs done. In the official Chinese daily, the United States has failed to understand that the business that it does with China supports millions and millions of American jobs, and that the U.S. approach will be self-defeating. Now, here's the nice part for me. This is the English version, right? So they do a whole newspaper in English. They say that China's announced that Chinese investment in the United States declined 92%, the lowest levels in 7 years. So already we'll see how it plays out. It says the woes the administration is inflicting on Chinese companies do not translate into boons for U.S. enterprise and the U.S. economy. The fast-shrinking Chinese investment in the U.S. reflects the damage being done to U.S.-China trade relations. So we'll have to see. So China has announced today that early July they are going to go forward with the tariffs. And I'll just let you know, there's a handful of states that are going to get hit more than others. Number one, Texas. Texas, they trade over $8 billion. Wow, that's a lot. $8 billion with China in 2017. Of course, for them, oil and propane. That's part of the list that China's going to tax. Louisiana, they're second, which I didn't know. It's like, Louisiana, that's where soybeans, right? So Louisiana, Alabama is also on the list, also soybeans. Washington, California, South Carolina, Illinois, and then, of course, Kentucky. Apparently, no one wants – everyone's going to be taxing the booze. So that's why Kentucky's on the list. So those are the biggest states that will take a hit. Texas, Louisiana, Washington, California, Alabama, South Carolina, Illinois, and Kentucky. And according to China's state-run media, tariffs are going to go into effect in early July, and then we'll see. President Trump says if they do it, he's going to hit a 10% tariff on another $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. Remember, we started with 50, and then China responded. Now Trump says if you actually go through with it, then I'm going to come at you and hit you with another 10% on another $200 billion, which is more. I think $200 billion is more than what China imports from us, like for the whole year. So what will happen next? I don't know. My fear would be the Treasury market, right? If China decides to retaliate in that regard and they start dumping treasuries, boy, it could be a very, very interesting summer. 800-951-0592, U.S. Silver Eagles. Silver right now, $16.40. U.S. rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles, $390 at 800-951-0592. People are starting to get a little – the Dow was up today, by the way. I just want to let you know, it's the first session in, the last 8. If the Dow finishes down today, it'll be the first time in over 40 years where they were down that many consecutive days in a row. So the right now, and I'll just get to the exact number. I want to say it was 8. I don't know. I can't find it right now. By the way, the big driver today, crude oil. If you missed it, OPEC has reached an agreement that they want to raise production by 1 million barrels a day. Unfortunately, OPEC said we can probably only really do 600,000 barrels a day because Venezuela, Mexico, Iran, Nigeria, all these countries are already at max capacity and or even worse, especially in Venezuela's case, production continues to fall. Crude oil's up $3 a barrel, up almost 5% for the day. So not the announcement they were hoping for. News that OPEC really doesn't have enough spare capacity because too many countries are going the wrong direction. Oil's up $3 a barrel, which has helped the Dow avoid the worst streak in 40 years. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. Final segment on this Friday. Here's another thing they will won't add to the inflation. Yesterday, the Supreme Court overturned a 1992 ruling which limited online sales tax collections, now freeing states and local governments to start collecting sales tax on online retailers. They upheld a law, the Supreme Court upheld a law passed by South Dakota lawmakers. So this is the case that overturned the 1992 ruling, which made sense because 1992, no one ordered online. Somebody was pretty smart, though, to put that in there. That requires out-of-state online sellers to collect the state's sales tax. So a lot of states, if you're in the state, you have to collect it. But if you were out of state, you didn't. That's gone away now. They said if the company has more than $100,000 in annual sales, so it's not a very big amount, here's the kicker. Not maybe you're like, I don't have $100,000 in annual sales, or 200 separate transactions. Either way, you fall into it. They by a 5-4 vote, they overturned a 1992 ruling that made much of the internet a tax-free zone. And you know how desperate states and cities are for your money. Get ready. The internet sales tax is on the way. The Supreme Court, by a 5-4 ruling, has now cleared the way. South Dakota was the one that brought the case, clearing the way for cities and states and counties, I guess everybody, to start taxing all internet transactions. That came down yesterday. It makes sense to me. It does. And I don't want to pay taxes on anything. None of us do. But it makes sense. I mean, it was, if you're a brick and a mortar, if you went through you think about it. You're paying property tax, right? You're paying all this other stuff to the state. And then some guy with a website in another state can sell the exact same stuff and now charge sales tax and put you out of business. I think it was and I know I'm turning liberal. But this is what you do. This is what happens when you promise everybody the moon and can't actually deliver. So sales taxes, looks like, is going to be coming. But don't worry. The Fed will keep telling you that there's no inflation. Gold going to finish here about $1,270. Silver, $1,641. The Dow right now, it's up 160. The NASDAQ is lower. Crude oil is now up $3.10. Again, OPEC said they're going to increase production by 1 million barrels a day, but then came out and said we actually can't increase production by that much because too many countries are already at max and declining. Said it'll be more like 600,000 barrels a day. Crude oil now back closing in on $69 a barrel. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll watch the trade wars all weekend long, and we'll be back on Monday. Everyone take care. Enjoy your weekend.